the economy, especially ways to revamp it. And in this context, we'll be sort of zeroing in on the role of the youth, that is leveraging on the potential of the youths of the country and diversification as well. We've been doing it one way for a long, long time. And, well, it looks like in this particular administration, there seems to be an influx of youths. Okay, our guest is a youth development advocate. He's also CEO of Soft City Group, and that's apart from being a technology expert. Mr. Stephen Onia, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Yori. Good morning.
Yes, thank you very much for making the time for us. Arguably, you see, when you look at it, back in the day, the First Republic, all of our leaders at the time, they were pretty much what you refer to today as youthful, if not exactly youths. They were youthful, and that was sort of understood. A lot of them came from the academia or studying abroad, pursuing different kind of courses. All of the names that became famous around the country at the time were relatively young. And then as the decades rolled by, a lot of those people stayed in place. And so they weren't so young anymore. And we sort of became used to that. But now it looks as if there's been a conscious effort, would you say, I'd like your opinion on that, to reintroduce what certainly must be the vigor that the youth can bring to it. Are you optimistic that we can leverage on the potential of the youths? And that's quite apart from the diversification that we're talking about. Are you optimistic that we can indeed leverage on the potential of the youth in developing our economy?
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Yori. Thank you. You see, unfortunately, I'm going to be coming from a bit different perspective.
Okay.
I hear you say potential, and I also hear you say the government is trying to incorporate the youth. First, we need to declare who are the youth. You see, the United Nations actually tried or made an attempt to set a bracket, an age bracket for those that can be considered to be youths. Relative to different states, and it was set as 15 years old to 24 years old. When they use the word youth,
yes,
for people in this country, it's as if we will never outgrow being youth. And also, I also need to reference what you said about the First Republic, and I will be referencing it from the perspective of the way the ideology that made Nigeria what it is today. You see, some countries are founded based on ideas, like the United States of America. Some countries are founded based on religion. Well, for those who want to argue, Nigeria is founded on an ideology, and I will prove that. The first anthem we had in this country, where we basically hailed Nigeria. We had in Nigeria, we hailed it, and we declare the sovereignty of the motherland and an ideology to honor this motherland in service and in battle. Obviously, that anthem lasted from 1960 to 1978, where the new anthem was now adopted. That is the current Arise All Compatriots. You see, the consistency of service, because if we look at what we had in the first one, which was obviously prepared by a British national living in Nigeria, that's the anthem we have from 1960 to 1978, and you look at the second one, the Arise O Compatriot, that was adopted from 1978 till date, you will notice the only element that remained consistent between those two anthems is what we call service, the call for Nigerians to serve, and the call for the young youth in Nigeria to serve. Let's not argue about the context of battle, which was an element programmed into the initial option we had as a country in the first anthem, and now we have love, strength, and faith. You see, let's not deceive ourselves. What we are experiencing now is what myself consider a generational genocide. A generational genocide where the youth will remain youth. You will continue to be a youth whether you are 40. And we start to be corrected. By the time we are 50 years old, 60 years old, they will still be calling us youth because we have this class of political showmanship. We have this class of powerful men who have designed a system where the young Nigerian would rather choose the option of flight than fight. They would rather japa than serve. The truth is, what's going on in this country, it's a disaster. You see, there used to be a time where our university system in this country were rock solid. You know, so you said the Hawk came in with foreign education. Well, we had an ideology built into the foundation of the Nigerian university system. You had men that went to school and the school went through them. You see, there was a system in place. And what we have now is a generation that have refused to give way. It's a generation that have refused to give way for service. You see, in the new anthem, I need to emphasize love, strength, and faith, and the concept of the young Nigerians to be able to know the truth as a prayer in the second stanza of the current anthem. You see, today we know what the love is all about. We don't love each other any longer. There is no faith in Nigeria. In Nigerian graduate today, we're not going to put his faith in the United States Constitution. We put his faith in Canada, in the United Kingdom, and serve them. Serve Nigeria. So when they say potentials, I stand to be corrected. For every 10 men in the north that has potential, there's also another 10 men in the east that have the same potential. For every 10 men in the south that have the potential, there's also another 10 men in the west that has potential. The problem with Nigeria is not the potential. We have it everywhere. It's the capacity to make way for these young, dynamic, intelligent Nigerians to serve. That's the problem we have. I disagree with this whole giving us peanuts to eat so that their children can rule over the generation. It's a generational genocide going on, sir.
Okay, so as you said, you're coming from an ideological standpoint, and it's useful that you came from that standpoint because back in the day, when you relate to going back to when we just come out of independence, and I was saying that most of the people were youthful, although I appreciate the United Nations definition of the youth that you were given, but the youth, they inherently are vibrant. They're highly mobile. And then again, today, the youth that Nigeria is blessed with are a different breed altogether. Well, of course, they are Nigerians, and I believe that a lot of them are patriotic, but perhaps they have been frustrated by what you just said about not being allowed the capacity to have the capacity. And we've heard it said before that, in these kind of things, it's unfortunate. You said the people, a lot of people who would like to stay put have not really given them much. And I've heard it said by elders that, well, you know, power or participation is not granted because you are nice, you are handsome, you are gentle. It has to be taken. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean a revolution, but when people are the very patriotic that you spoke about, then, you know, and also the fact of the nationalism that you also referred to, they could know that, look, it doesn't matter whether you also become a citizen of Greece or Canada or Finland or England, you are a Nigerian and that you owe something to Nigeria. Now, I would argue that a lot of people are not about to give up their Nigerian citizenship. But even beyond the ideology of it, the administration, this administration that we're looking at the moment, there are, you know, more than a handful of youth. I don't know if it is, it's arguable to say this has been the administration with the most of these youth, and these youths have special characteristics wherever they are around the world. They're highly trained, they're very mobile, you know, they're energetic. When it comes to all sorts of things, agriculture and all of these, you're very lucky if you have a youthful population. So I can identify with all that you said, but you seem to take offense at the word potential. It's the possibility, if done right, if the youths are suitably placed. You talked about capacity. Yeah, maybe if they hadn't had the capacity in the past, because it is thought that politics and all of that is a money bags affair. If that's not to say that there are not a lot of youths that, thanks to technology and the new world, are indeed money bags in their own right. But the important thing is to now turn back inward, come back home, if you haven't done it yourself because of your apprehensions before, now they are being actively courted. So that is the sense in which I was speaking about the potential that the youth, now that we seem to realize that you have a heck of an asset in the youths and you don't engage them at your own peril. And it seems that that is being done. At least take a few steps, but you take a few steps before you begin to run. That is being done so that we can also, have a youthful leadership, bringing new values to the country and new prosperity, hopefully. That is the context in which I was hoping to be able to frame the discussion, because a lot of people are indeed positive and optimistic that this is a good thing.
All right, Mr. Yori, I must really commend the way you intend and have designed this discussion to go. And I would yield to at least flow in line with what you expect. But permit me to make a difference, a differential approach.
Sure. Sure, please go ahead.
So look here, I'm going to focus on key information signals from what you've discussed.
Yes.
One, there are youth potentials in Nigeria. Yes, I agree. Two, there are youth that are patriotic for Nigeria. Yes, I agree. There are youth, whether they have multiple nationality, they still believe in Nigeria. Yes, I agree. But the question we should ask ourselves, there's a difference between having a motivation and there's a difference between giving the platform to exercise what you have as a capacity within yourself. You see, I won't.
You think that is lacking? Sorry, Stephen. Do you think that is lacking?
Yes, it is lacking, sir. It is lacking, sir. Let me be sincere with you. You see, there's a difference between technical capacity, which most people mistake for patriotic capacity. You see, our technical capacity in Nigeria is currently being harnessed on a very massive scale in countries like Canada and United Kingdom. So the technical capacity is not the problem. It's a patriotic mindset. Let me give you an example. I'm in my home right now, and I chose not to put on the generator. So my life. And the problem we have with this country is the inability to give another generation the chance. They want a situation where you have to say yes, sir, to a master. They want a situation where you earn the fruit by kneeling at the foot of another man. You see, the problem we have in this country is a generational genocide, like I've said, where the current elite, the current political showmanship have designed themselves such that, you see, don't have the capacity. I have friends in my network. They are professors in universities overseas. And I look at our own university system. There used to be a time. What does it take to fix the current system? What does it take to create opportunities for Nigerians? It's not about the potential. You see, when you say you want to harness potential, you're creating jobs, 1 million jobs. 1 million jobs that you have no plan to make, to plan that will outlive you in 8 years. I am not criticizing anyone. I'm just trying to make a point. The point is simple. To fix this country, to make this country work, there needs to be an institutional framework that makes room for a generation of experts, a generation of professionals, a generation with capacity to be able to exercise not just their technical capacity, but their patriotic inerrancy to serve the nation. That's the problem we have, sir. You see,
but the world,
we have often...
Sorry, sir. Sorry, Stephen, but the world is changing. And again, arguably, the world belongs to the youth now. You yourself are an IT expert. It's a lot easier for youthful, let me stop using youths, more youthful people to flow with that. And as you know, our elders, we can't throw away their experience. They just don't have a clue when it comes to IT, let's face it. And they don't have to know everything, but, that is why you have people around you, experts, advisors, who also tend to be on the youthful side. So I hear what you are saying, and you seem to be bemoaning the fact that they've institutionalized almost this whole matter about whoever was there before, it doesn't yield to the space. And but because the world belongs to the youth, you look at, a number of countries all around the world more youthful people are indeed taking over, and we're taking that as normal. Why would Nigeria not be like that? So the point we were making is that the very asset that you also referred to, we have it in the north, we have it in the south, we have it in the east and in the west, all of that, I am suggesting for your consideration that there is a better chance now of them strutting their stuff as opposed to before, where to our own disadvantage, that is our own national disadvantage, they were overlooked or not taking for the pearl that they are. Even when you look at appointments that have been made by the Tinubu administration, you will have to agree that there's a sizable number of youths in there. I'm not saying this is the only one that has done so, but there are sizable in there, which would seem to be indicative of the belief that, look, these assets cannot be put under a bushel, to paraphrase, could not be put under the bushel anymore. They now must take center stage. And the very thing you were talking about them being stymied, blocked, here or there, it would appear that that is being sort of lifted by the very invitation. Say, come strut your stuff. We need you guys. You know it. Let's listen. I mean, you're an expert. You have to bear me out that it's much easier to relate with youthful minds than with senior, elderly minds when it comes to your specialization, which is IT. That's all that I was saying.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Yori. Okay, I am once again going to try to align with you. And I want to first recap what you are saying so you can actually understand that I know what you're saying. Then I give you a room for you to be able to entertain what I am saying.
No. Sorry, I want to, it's you. You are our guest. So we must take your perspective. Let's face it, right. We invited you for your perspective and the fact that you are a youth development advocate and a technology expert. And we thought those two things are so very today. They're so very today. So it's like, I'd rather listen to you. I don't want to put across any viewpoint on my... So I'm saying, look, okay, what is the benefit to the country of having technology experts like your very good self and youth development advocates? Where is all of this going? How is it going to benefit the country? Maybe we should go that way.
All right. Thank you very much. So what you want to know is, how can we add value to the country, the youth of this country? So I'm going to reference two industries that actually make remarkable progress, and they are a crop of youth. Number one, the entertainment industry, and two, the innovators. These are two categories of youth that have dynamically changed the landscape. So the first thing I want to ask is, you see, these guys are making global impact, but we should ask ourselves, was it as a result of some governance system allowing them to serve? And also, we should also ask ourselves, look at the magnitude and the level of success the entertainment industry has achieved. Look at the magnitude and the level of success the innovators have achieved. Then let's look at Nigeria as a country. You see, the embracing youth in a government is a different dimension. Now let me reference another government entity, which obviously falls within the purview of what I do daily. That is the current Minister of Digital Economy, which was on air, I think, at the platform to share his strategy. And you see, so there's what we call the National Innovation System. It's an international design that was designed to determine the success of innovation in any country. And one of the key elements is capacity, institutional capacity from the universities. And you see, there was a sentence he made, and I don't hold him responsible because I'm trying to connect this to a thought. So hold on. He said, if we are to go, and I'm quoting him, I might not quote him verbatim, but you can watch this video of his excerpt on the platform. He said, if we were to go with the National Information System, which is a global design for innovative success, he said they cannot achieve it in 4 years. Now, let me tell you what is going on. You see, when a youth is brought into government, don't let be bamboozled by the fact that they've embraced the youth. Have you given that youth the freedom of expression, the freedom of strategy? Because if a youth like this minister of digital economy is thinking that I only want to do what I can achieve to please my master in 4 years, or I only want to do what I can achieve to please my master in 8 years, that is what they call a stifled imagination, where he is not there because I trust him. I vouch for his capacity. If he is given an opportunity to create a landmark achievement that will outlive him, outlive the current presidency, he won't go on air and say the National Information System, which cannot be achieved in 4 years, is not something he's going to use. It's not something he's going to adopt.
Okay, Stephen, one moment, please. Thank you very much. Let me bring in Mukhtar now, who's been waiting for a while. And thank you very much, Mukhtar, in Kaduna, for holding on for us.
No, in Kano.
Oh, I beg your pardon, Mukhtar in Kano. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
I want to make some contributions.
Please go ahead.
Yes, you see, the potential, you see, youth in Nigeria. Yes, I totally, in Kano, not in Kaduna, I totally agree with Mr. Stephen's submission. Because Mr. Stephen is telling the truth. But one thing we should understand is that Nigerian youth has no potential in Nigeria. One, because of the political dominance by the elders. You see, these elders are mostly governors and senators and all the rest of that. The youth have no chance. Look at what happened to Abdul Rashid Bawa. He was arrested, he was never taken to court. You see, look at the university educational system. Look at the health sector. The youth are left on their own. And that will increase social crimes because there is no equality in Nigeria in terms of social justice, in terms of health sector, in terms of everything. So they are all bunch of the same feathers, bird of the same feathers. They are all senators, they are all the governors, and they are still ruling. And no policy is being directed for the poor. And it's unfortunate. And we say we want Nigeria to be better. How can we be better while others are being enslaved unnecessarily? Look at the students in the university. They cannot afford everything. Go to UK, go to America. There are subsidies in education. Till today in UK, there are subsidies in health sector. There are subsidies in transport system. But of Nigeria, you are on your own. How can a common man try to help himself? He has to engage in social vices, and that would be bad. That's why we have these bandits, that's why we have kidnappers and so many, because they have to survive. They are human beings like us. They don't have anybody to learn about. It's the government that we relied on, and the government and the resources belongs to all Nigerians. Why should it be to the executives and the senators and the House of Reps and then the governors? It shouldn't be. We have to tell ourselves the truth if we want Nigerian youth to have a potential. And if this continues, I'm sorry for Nigeria, because the generation will come and each one will be for himself. And if that happens, it will be too bad for Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Mukhtar, out of Kano, with that. Stephen, coming back to you, because there seems to be an alignment between, you know, what you were saying and what Mukhtar, who called in from Kano, was saying. So I wanted to find out, because are you therefore saying that there's not very much to the sort of a new emphasis on bringing in much more youthful people than hitherto? Are you saying that, well, that all of that is really window dressing? Is that what you're saying? That in the absence of other key things, because Mukhtar also seemed to say, as much as you were saying, that look, it's one thing to have the youth, but what can they do? What can they do? And I got the impression of amidst archaic ideas. Now, if a youth, and we read about, thank God for social media and the new info technology, if the youth, many of whom are, well, let me not say many, talking about Nigerian youth now, a sizable proportion of which are very successful abroad, as we are reading about it, who have their own companies. I would imagine that the companies that those youth run and the way they conduct business might not be the same as a 65-year-old, for instance, who owns a similar company, might be running it. That was what I was wanting to sort of find out about. And it seems that between you and Mukhtar, who called in from Kano, you've given me the impression that when we come back home to Nigeria, none of that counts. All bets are off. Did I get you right? Very briefly, because I'll go on break, but let me just get you right, Stephen.
Thank you very much once again, Mr. Yori. Now, and at this point, I'm going to talk as a business owner because I like the fact that you give an analogy of business. You see, first and foremost, I'm just going to go a little bit of digression. Like I said, you can see there's no light in my house, and I chose not to on the gen, so it can be obvious there's no light in Nigeria. And when you run a business, no, Mr. Yori, just 1 minute.
No, I want to tell you something. I feel what you're going to say. I feel what you're going to say is important. So, and I just have a few seconds to go on break. So I think it's better for me to go on that break so that you're not interrupted. And so when we come back, we can then speak without any interruption, apart from if somebody calls in. So thank you very much, Mr. Stephen Onia, and also thank you to Mukhtar, who called in from Kano. We'd like to, progress this conversation. I hope many more people will call in on it. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. On Labor Lens, we believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know how the world of work operates, what it means to the employer of labor, how policies affect workers in the workplace. On Labor Lens, I ensure we engage effectively the organized labor, organized private sector, and governments to get out of them information workers are in need of. I am Sharon Ijason, asking questions that make you get sense of the workplace.
Our planet, our home, threatened by man's activities with fears of mass extinction on the rise. On Green Angle, we examine the issues that affect our environment, seek solutions to put us on track to secure and restore a cleaner and greener world for generations to come.
It's not your regular show. It's an online interactive session where I will share my views on the everyday issues that cut across politics, security, health, current affairs, governance, and so much more. I am passionate about our country. I choose to support any conversation geared towards building a better Nigeria. I am Babajide Kolaji Otitoju. Join me every Saturday on TVC News YouTube channel as I discuss Nigeria and the world at large on the show, Issues with Jide.
Politics is defined as getting what, where, when.
Okay, welcome back. And our guest is Mr. Stephen Onia. He's a youth development advocate and technology expert. And we've been having this interesting conversation. I had to go away on a break when he was going to sort of illustrate some of the misgivings he has as relating to this whole concept of the potential of youths. We've also had a call from, a viewer has also called in, backing up that position, saying that, the youths hardly have any room to move in this situation. So just before I come to you, Mr. Onia, let me also take Reverend Dominic, who has called in from Arochukwu. Good morning to you, Reverend.
Oh, from Alumasho, Yori, good morning.
Oh, sorry, from Alumasho. I was confusing you with our brother in Arochukwu. Mazi Okorapo. No, this is Reverend Dominic. Good morning to you, sir.
Yeah, Yori, I want to, first of all, appreciate the governor of Lagos State. If you can hear me, I want to appreciate the governor of Lagos State for evacuating some brothers from Israel. That quick intervention, we criticize everything in our nation. If you have not done it, we criticize what are they doing. From quick intervention, what happened just on Friday, and they evacuate about 300 people from Israel, it needs to be commended. I thank God for him, and I ask the grace of God upon him to have that kind of proactive attitude to governance. Now, back to our topic today. In empowering the youth, there's what we call a low-hanging fruit. That low-hanging fruit is to change our education curriculum to put, IT from primary, secondary, school. And before you get to university, you are already empowered by the world you're living in. We're moving to artificial intelligence. If we keep the curriculum we have now in school the way it is, there's nothing this digital economy minister can do. Because you cannot, we say in Africa, you cannot teach an old man how to use a left hand. We must start now. That's a low-hanging fruit to make a policy that from primary to secondary, even to university, we must change some courses in university and borrow management, borrow economy, borrow philosophy, borrow history. Most of these courses now is updated the world. But if you can borrow it and put it to information technology, you take management, you take administration, it become a borrow courses. But the main courses is IT. That will help people. There's no nation that can produce and provide job for all the youths. No nation in the world, even America, no nation. But when you empower people, they will empower themselves. We must say this truth. There's no government that can empower the whole Nigerians. We are too many. Number one, we don't have the statistics of them. Number two, religion is playing a big role. There's some part of Nigeria, you must marry 3 wives, and nobody tells you how many children you give birth to. In Europe today, they have restricted. In New Zealand, if you take you're a pregnant woman, they pay you because the population is lean. In China, if you do that, you're running into trouble. Our population is great. The only way to make it work is to change our education curriculum to give everybody empowerment from primary school, from secondary school to university. We must change our education curriculum so that it can empower people at this time from cradle to the time they grow old. That's my contribution. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Reverend Dominic. Okay, back to you, Mr. Stephen Onia. Yes, now I hope that you won't be interrupted. You were just about to illustrate a difference, to make it clearer, why you think the youth are sort of stymied when it comes to realizing a particular kind of potential for them in Nigeria. For the moment, it would appear, Stephen, can you hear me? It would appear that we've lost the sound. I hope you haven't accidentally muted your phone. Stephen, can you hear me? If you can hear me, the sound, we appear to have lost the sound. Might you have accidentally muted your phone when we were on break?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. But when you started speaking, we couldn't hear you.
Fantastic. So all right. So let me recap. I was saying that the innate capacity of every Nigerian youth is a constant. I am one of those that have worked with several young Nigerians and have realized 99% of Nigerian youth that I have ever seen have this extraordinary innate capacity. Now, but what I've understood, the ability to apply capacity, the ability to express potentials is not dependent on the individual. And I was going to give you an example as a business owner, which is a good analogy you made before we went on break. You see, when I bring people into Soft City Group, which is the business I run, I give them the opportunity to express themselves. I give them the opportunity to explore ideas. I give them the opportunity to be independent and not be micromanaged. You see, what we have today, when you say you are bringing in youth, yes, we praise that attempt. Yes, we respect at least you are embracing the availability of youth potentials in this country. However, the question we are asking ourselves, when you bring in a youth, are they allowed to express, explore, and represent the ideology of their generation? Or they are there to be maneuvered within the 4-year cycle or 8-year cycle that the masters dictate? You see, the truth is, I am one of those that believe that the governance system in Nigeria, the Nigerian youth have more than capacity it requires to transform it completely. Now, you see, you talk about businesses. Some of us in business, we burn diesel to power the business. These youths come in and we train with our capacity and we allow them work. Now, let's assume that a youth is brought into governance and this youth have this radical idea that does not align with political ideology, does not align with political showmanship. Please, what would you expect? The youth will put himself in that 4-year box. He will put herself in that 8-year box and be limited by the time frame mindset of the masters. You see, I love what the previous caller said about the institutionalizing education. I have advocated that over and over. You see, the only way we can know a genuine leader, the only way we can know a genuine system of governance is when they have a futuristic strategy that goes beyond the 4 years and the 8 years. It's when they have a vision that even if this vision does not materialize in my time, that even if this vision does not materialize within my 8 years such tenure, I am certain that another generation will remember my name. Another generation will sing my legacy. That is not what we have now, sir.
Ada in Jos, good morning.
Yes, Stephen, it's Ada, calling from Jos Statistics. I didn't actually want to call, but when I now listen to your guest, Stephen, he's on point. Nigerian youths are very resilient, When you ask me, in fact, I've never seen youths that are so wonderful like Nigerian youth. The problem we have is, lack of enabling environment. No matter which way you look at it. An average Nigerian youth is not interested in even giving him fish every day. What they want is a net to fish. Enabling environment, that's what the government should offer. There's nobody, most Nigerian youth, it has talking to them that there are no more white-collar jobs. They know that. But the problem, they don't have an enabling environment. And even the investors, they cannot come in to invest because there's no enabling environment in Nigeria. Because they are the ones that will come and invest and then create jobs. And then some of the youth will also be self-employed. We have so many interventions that are just counterproductive. Look at Empower. What has happened to it now? When they were doing that Empower, I remember I was calling all the time and I was saying that is counterproductive. After 2 years, the ones around me, they are now jobless. How can you expect somebody to save out of 30,000 naira you're paying the person? Most of them were not equipped, nothing. They don't have any starter packs or whatever, So it's just money down the drain.
Ada, are you still there? Oh, it trailed off. I don't know if Ada had finished or if... anyway, well, Stephen, that's another caller who again has aligned with your position, which is that merely putting youths into the picture does not necessarily guarantee getting the benefit of having youths with their hands on the wheel. Because there are situations where you were just explaining to me how in your company, for instance, with your hands on the wheel, there's a way you've just said you get fresh ideas, because you allow them to express themselves. If I understand you, are you saying that that's not the way it works in Nigeria? You don't think that the youth that we are talking about and that people are saying we have a whole ministry for, they're not going to get very far, seems to be what's coming from you, because they cannot operate in isolation of the environment they are in.
Mr. Yori, I can go on right now, right?
Yes, please.
All right, thank you. You see, I'm trying to tilt the approach to this conversation so that we can have something very clear. You don't need youth in the governance to allow you to transform the country. You don't need youth in governance.
Okay.
Let me give you an example. Bill Gates started Microsoft in the garage. Apple started Mark Zuckerberg in the dormitory. Elon Musk was sponsored. You don't need people that change the world, does not necessarily have to be in governance. So the very idea that because you are bringing youth into governance means you are giving youth a chance is the biggest form of fallacy ever. The truth is, to allow youth transform this country, you don't need us in governance. You just need to give us the opportunity, give us the platform, and give us the enabling capacity. We will change this country. We will turn all these things in and out, and it will be rosy for the whole world to see. The problem we have is called political showmanship and a generational genocide. Sir, whether you believe it or not, at the point in this country, people within the age of 30 to 45, they were head of state in this country. People within the age of 30 years old to 40, they were ruling the government, they were ruling the country. And now, ask yourself, sir, so apologies, I mean, ask a typical Nigerian youth who is probably 45 years old, does not even have an idea of what he wants to do in Nigeria. His mind is in Canada. His mind is in the United Kingdom because they know the opportunity is not there. They know that even if they put the opportunity in front of you, they will give you a knife instead of giving you a spoon, because they don't intend for you to maximize the opportunity. That is the way the system is designed. And I'm telling you, they keep using the words youth and youth and youth. Sir, are we talking about youth as defined by the United Nations, which is 15 years old to 24 years old? Or are you talking about men that have gone through the university system and the university system have passed through them, men that are now 40 to 50, men that are 30 to 60? Are they the one we are calling youth today? We need to clarify all this. A particular generation in this country has been stifled. A particular generation in this country have lost hope, and they've embarked on an exodus. They've embarked on an abandonment of service to patriotism. That is what is going on in this country, sir.
Well, yeah. Favor in Kaduna. Did I get that right? Good morning, Favor.
Good morning. Yes, you got it right. Favor.
Go ahead, please.
I want to say good morning to everybody for this wonderful show, TVC. And
good morning.
Hello?
I said good morning. Thank you for calling in. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Now, I agreed with Stephen Onia about what he said about Nigerian youth and what is going on in the country. Now, we all know what is happening in this country, how youth are deprived so many opportunities to change the country. So now because I'm a Nigerian youth and I want to know, like, what are the solutions? I'm asking this question to, I'm asking person, what are the solutions? What are the things we can do, to change this situation for a very long time?
Okay, well, thank you for calling in, Favor. You can imply one or two things from what Stephen has been saying, that you don't need the youth in governance, is what he is saying. Because, let's face it, our youth that do go out, apart from a small part of it, they don't end up in governance wherever they've gone. So I think that's the point Stephen was making. But Stephen, would you like to proffer an answer to Favor? So what can
Yes, please. Thank you very much, Favor. Thank you very much. And thank you for at least let's now stop being critical and start talking about solutions, which is very good. And I'm going to first go back to what I've said before, institutionalization. You see, I'm going to reference this one more time. Every nation is founded on a principle. America is founded on an idea. Some countries are founded on religion. Nigeria is founded on an ideology. We have held this country. You just need to serve. Like Mr. Umar said, we need to fix the primary education. We need to fix it. But that is where it starts from. Fix the university system. Restore the old glories. Empower the people that can impact the masses and not just the few. We need an infrastructural system where a Nigerian youth that has an idea, like Elon Musk, can have a channel to a governance funding system that makes this idea not just work, so that the governance master can do a jamboree and say, I made this happen and score a technology medal, but so that that person who have been able to ideate something in his mind have been able to access government assistance like the like of Elon Musk has done, he can be able to build a sustainable system that is not just powered by sufficient government policies, but also backed up by an independent ability to explore and apply unique and uncommon knowledge. I want to reference something you also said, sir. You are very correct that these our leaders, they are at a particular age of their life where they are not as acquainted with some of these dynamic trends that is going on around the world. So what should we do? We should leave them there, because by virtue of African culture, the oldest must rule the youngest. Is that what we should do? Look at Canada. How old is their president? Look at these countries. How old are their leaders? If we continue to institutionalize old age because of wisdom, which is good. Wisdom can be good for consulting. It does not necessarily have to be for leadership. You can guide us, you can school us, you can mentor us, you can motivate us, but it's not compulsory you rule by your age. It's not compulsory. Now, the truth of this matter is, just to go straight to the point, we need institutional systems in this country. We need an institutional system in this country, a system that a Nigerian youth can look at 15 years ahead and have confidence, knowing truly that the system available in this network of governance, in this network of institutional system, that he can know that this will work for me if I stay in this country.
Indeed.
See, sir, I am speaking as someone who have worked with a lot of Nigerian youth in a business capacity and mentorship capacity. I can say for a certainty, sir, 90% of Nigerian youth have lost hope in Nigeria. When you talk to them, they want to go overseas. When you ask them, they have plans in Canada. That's just the truth.
Okay, thank you very much. And I hope Favor was able to take something out of that, because to emphasize or re-emphasize what you have been saying, the most important thing, that also came from Mukhtar calling in from Kano, I believe. What you were saying is that the most important thing is the enabling environment where a 22, 23, 24-year-old youth can buy his own house, for instance. He can look forward, as we've just been saying, and see a plan, see a plan that is workable, and I don't have to know anybody. It's no big deal. But the moment, I think I see what you're saying, because that is not the way it is at the moment. The system, I think what our youth are going to do abroad is they're really running to meet with a system that is workable, because when they get over there, then they're able to key into a system, and things that they could not do here as private citizens, they are able to do in another country where they have decided, look, I'll take your citizenship. So those are the kind of things that I'm talking about. And Favor, who called in, hopefully you'll be able to extrapolate that and get something from what we are being told here by our technology expert. After all of that, so the enabling environment, much more than, I think you see the inclusion of youth in governance as virtually unnecessary, and you even refer to it as a bit of a showmanship. The much more important thing is the environment. Create an environment where youths who are smart, any way you look at it, will know. They don't have to go out because there's nothing you're going to look for there that I can't do here. I think that is the essence of what you're saying, if I got you right.
Exactly. Very correct.
So closing thoughts now, because now that we got that point very, very clear, that at least as far as you are concerned and representing from your corner, this is the most important thing if we're going to leverage on the potential of the youth. Put the environment so that the youth can flourish, so that the youth can flourish without any encumbrance, which is not the way we have it right now. Even if the administration has said that that is where it's going. It's spoken about credit. As you know, if you want to do anything, buy a car in Nigeria, build a house, you've got to find a lot of the money yourself. As opposed to our youths go over there, and at 24, 25, they are able to start the process of owning their own house, that kind of a thing, without resorting to any illegality. Those are the kind of enabling environments, ease of doing business, and all like things. Well, your closing thoughts from you then, Steve. Closing thoughts from you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yori, for giving me an opportunity to give a closing thought. My closing thought is very simple, and it's to the Nigerian youth. We need to understand the pattern of shifts we've had with the ideology called Nigeria. We started from 1960 to 1978, where we had the Nigeria we ALD, and it was all about service and battle. And it was clearly declared in our national anthem, and we saw how it played out with the military systems. Now, we also have the Arise, O Compatriot, where we have the love, and we have the service, and we have the faith. I want Nigerian youth to have faith. I want us to know that sooner or later, what is good for the goose is good for the gander. I want us to know that this country, whether they like it or not, whether it's already us or not, a matter of time, Karma will play around, and we will take possession of our destiny, and we will be able to take charge of the pilot seat of this country so that we can create things that is bigger than Facebook. We can create ideas that can be bigger than SpaceX. We can create self-driving cars that is bigger than Tesla. It's a matter of time. Whether they allow us or not, we need to have faith. It's going to happen.
Thank you very much, Stephen Onia, CEO, Soft City Group, technology expert, and youth development advocate. Really appreciate your time this morning.
You're welcome.
Indeed. So that's our program. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I'm Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.
It's primarily about funding education, investment in education. That's the key. It's important to put technology in every classroom, not just every school, but you need to put technology in every classroom and in the hands of every student. That's why it's important to make sure every teacher has a tablet, a technology device to impact the learning processes.
Thanks for calling Bastion HMO. Thank you. Now that was my health insurance partner. Yeah, I was just as skeptical as you were about health insurance until I tried Bastion HMO. I got a healthcare plan that's right for me and my family. I have access to top quality healthcare services and facilities. We also get access to over 1,700 hospitals and clinics. Call 0800 Bastion, Bastion Health, the HMO that puts you in control.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. Do you struggle with having an active and healthy lifestyle due to your busy schedule? Do you find it's difficult to make it to the gym? You want to improve your overall health, but don't know where and how to start? Medical experts agree that walking, running, and jogging are amongst the best ways to stay fit and enjoy a great active and healthy lifestyle. What if there was a convenient and affordable way to improve your health, improve your mood, and lose weight right in your own home? Introducing the SportX Digital Compact Treadmill, the compact foldable treadmill that makes being active and losing weight fast and easy. Just unfold it and walk, jog, or run while you watch your favorite programs on TV. And when you're done, just fold it and store it away. Now that's convenience. The secret is its advanced design that houses a 1-horsepower motor that is twice the size of most treadmills, packed into a nice compact unit, powering every step you take. You get the SportX digital compact treadmill system complete with a rugged commercial-grade ultra-durable traction belt, large LCD multifunctional display that displays speed, time, distance, calories, and has 12 different exercise programs, as well as a magnetic safety key for added security.
The SportX treadmill has really helped me get back in shape after childbirth. I love it because it's compact and can fit anywhere in the house. And when I'm done, I fold and put it away. Easy peasy.
This is the best piece of equipment for people like me who want to stay active without leaving the home. I simply unfold it and use it while I watch my favorite program on TV.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Voted as the best TV station of the year. TVC News breaks into the core of every event as they happen, following all nationwide big and impactful stories. Without the news from every perspective, covering every human angle. I am Veronica, bringing you the news you would want to watch.
Hello, thanks for joining us on TVC News. Let's begin with the National Assembly, where the Senate has directed a joint committee to conduct a thorough investigation into the incessant crude oil theft in the Niger Delta and the suspected actors involved. The upper chamber adopted the resolution following a motion sponsored by the lawmaker representing Niger Delta, Ned Nwoko, during the Tuesday's plenary session. A National Assembly correspondent, Tejisu Adeoye, reports.
Reports of flagrant bunkering of oil in the Niger Delta and other oil-producing communities has come up for discussion on the floor of the Senate. More disturbing